Hey, it's Dustin with Ladou's Customs. I'm working on this fuel pump assembly for my 2010 Hummer H3t, which is the truck. I have the Alpha package, which has the 5.3 V8 and the flex fuel. So these are no longer available, they're discontinued. So you're left sourcing individual parts for it, or trying to find a pump that's similar. I'll talk about that in a minute. But as I began tearing this apart, I tried to find a replacement pump, and I did. But let me first show you how this easily comes apart. The pump is inside the center here, with the strainer and this thing, I don't know what that is, but it attaches to the bottom, and then this covers it up, right? And they just come off with these little clips. There's like 3 of them, 3 or 4, and you pop that off, and then you're gonna have to get this hose to disconnect from this little canister. They're on there really good, so you're most likely gonna have to replace this hose at the very least. So on the factory fuel pump, it's got this little kind of crush washer that slides on there, the strainer, and this little jet thing, and the float, which attaches to this guy here, which just clips in there, and then you just clip it out. So I sourced the fuel pump by searching this part number down there at the bottom, the A number, the one that starts with A. I can't see it very well through the camera. And I did a Google image search of the strainer because there was no part number, and it comes back to a Dodge Ram pickup around the same time frame in the 2010s to 20 era. Here it is right here. It's the same one. And here is the fuel pump that I got, searching that part number, and it says it's for some various AUDIs and VOLVOs. The difference between this pump and the factory pump is that it has a different electrical connector. There we go. So the factory one has a Delco style connector, which is right there. And the replacement one has a Walbro style. The new replacement fuel pump also has a extra nipple right here, which I don't know what it's for, or if it does anything at all. Doesn't look like it looking down in there. It just looks kind of blocked off. So using this, you're gonna have to get the right connector, or you can just put some 2 spade connectors in there. But I fortunately have access to the correct connector through work. And I'm not sure where our guy got these from or what the part numbers are. Sorry, but I think if you just search Walbro style connector, you might be able to find something. So there you have it. There's that thing. And the strainer that comes with this new pump is slightly different. It has this thing, but plus it has something else. I don't have it out here right now, sorry. It has some other kind of a little piece that comes off of this that I'm assuming is replacing something on here where this won't go on it with the one that comes with it. All right, and so you're gonna have to get a new hose right here, and I have that right here from Boost Monkey, and it's a 5/16 or 8 millimeter. There's the part number, E85 safe. If you don't ever plan on running E85, it's no problem. I just went ahead and I'm doing it because, heck, I don't know how long I'm gonna have this vehicle, and then what if somebody, the next owner, decides they want to put E85 in there, and you put a fuel hose in there that is not E85 safe, it's gonna eat through that hose. Okay, now part 2 of this is, before I knew about this Walbro style connector, I did a Google image search, which is amazing, by the way. It's helped me find all these parts on this connector, and in the background it kind of picked up this portion of the fuel pump, and I came across a very similar pump for like a 2014, like a Malibu or some kind of Buick, Lacross or something like that, and it is darn near the same thing. There's a few differences, but I think if you wanted to, you can use this if you're handy with swapping some things. So the actual base here is the same as the Hummer. It has the same style, everything. The only difference between them is the float is different from the H3t. So you'll have to reuse your H3t. The fuel pressure regulator is one number different, the last number on this one here, this new pump, is one number off from the Hummer pump. It is 4.4 at the end, and here we have 4.3 at the end. Couldn't find any difference online, like any information. However, I cannot find this one in a part number to even find out if there's a difference. But the one from the H3t you can find on Amazon from various suppliers in China. And it was like 50 bucks shipped. I received a replacement from China. It took about 3 weeks, and they sent me the wrong part. They actually sent me, it looked like a sensor like this fuel pressure sensor, but it wasn't one from the H3, it's from something else. So they're sending me a new one, and they said they had the correct one, they promised. So the other thing with this one from the Buick is that the fuel pump has this Walbro style connector, just like the one I ordered separately, versus the Delphi from the H3t. Okay, and it also has that extra nipple here that's not being used. So I'm assuming it's obsolete, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay, but everything else down here is the same. It uses the same filter, the strainer, and this little goofy device that's attached to it as well. So the top portion is nearly identical with the exception of this additional port here. I'm assuming it's some type of return line, and this evap line here is attached to this green thing, whereas the H3t does not have this green thing. It's just empty, and a hose attaches to it instead inside the tank. So in theory, you can use this, but you'd have to take off this thing so you can use your hose that's inside the tank. Cap this off. The fuel pressure sensor is the same. The connector is the same. The problem is you have to figure out how to get these out of here. I don't know how they do that, and I don't want to risk breaking it trying to find out. But the easiest thing to do if you wanted to use this pump assembly, and assuming that this pressure regulator isn't too far off because of that number, if you're going to use this, I'd recommend you just undo these clips to these springs on the factory, the H3 one, and just reuse this top portion, just put it on here. You're still gonna have to change the connector if you have a Delphi connector to match this Walbro style. And then you'll have to change out the float as well. So there is an option, it looks like, that you can use. That's a possibility. I am not going to do this because this thing was almost $400, and the part number for it is a MU1911 AC Delco. MU1911 from AC Delco. Again, this was a almost $400 pump. Whereas this, and it's been a few weeks, I don't remember the price, was, oh gosh, I don't remember, maybe $100 or less. And the strainer was like, you know, $10, nothing. And the fuel line replacement, the 85 safe fuel line was like the same thing. It was like less than $10. And there's the info on that. 5/16 or 8mm E85 safe. There's the part number. These are on there really good, so you'd be wise to replace them. So yeah, if you're going to reuse this one and reuse the top here, I found that these hoses did pop off the canister a lot easier, but I can't get it off this fuel pump very well at all. So you probably will be able to use this, reuse this, if you can safely get it off the canister to then transfer it to the base of this guy. All right, I hope that helps solve any mysteries out there. There's a lot of information there to help you get started on replacing your fuel pump on your H3t Alpha. Now, I wish I knew if it was the same as the 5-cylinder. I don't. I'm assuming it could be, since this looks nearly identical to that, and this is for the V6 cars, the Buicks and the Malibus that have the V6. Okay, thank you.